I almost gave him a 1-star review. That's the part I'm most ashamed of. I almost rated him 1 star because he was quiet. Because he didn't make small talk. I almost did it without knowing a single thing about who he really was. But something made me pause. And what I discovered in the next 10 minutes changed me forever. My name is Marcus. I live in Dallas, Texas with my wife Diana and our 2 kids. I work in sales and I travel a lot for work, which means I take a lot of Uber rides. Most of them blur together. You get in. You get out. You move on. But the ride I took on a Wednesday evening in February is one I will never forget. His name on the app was Victor. 4.8 stars. A blue Honda Civic. He arrived exactly on time. I got in and said hello. Victor nodded and smiled quietly but didn't say much. He focused on the road. No music playing. Just the quiet hum of the car and the city lights passing by. I picked up my phone and opened the Uber app. My finger hovered over the rating. I was genuinely considering giving him a lower rating simply because the ride felt awkward. Then something caught my eye. In the back seat pocket in front of me, stuffed between some papers and a water bottle, was a folded military uniform. Neatly folded. Carefully kept. Like it was the most precious thing in the car. I looked up at Victor in the rearview mirror. And for the first time I really looked at him. His eyes were focused on the road but there were dark circles beneath them. Deep ones. The kind that come not from one bad night but from many. His jacket was clean but worn thin at the elbows. And on the dashboard, barely visible, was a small framed photograph of a younger man in military uniform standing proudly in front of an American flag. I leaned forward and asked quietly, "Is that you in the photo?" Victor glanced at the dashboard and then back at the road. "Yes sir," he said simply. "A long time ago." I asked him if he had served. 20 years, he said. Army. Retired 3 years ago. I waited. Something told me there was more. And slowly, without me asking another question, Victor began to talk. He told me that after 20 years of service the transition back to civilian life had been harder than anything he faced overseas. No steady job. Skills that didn't translate easily on paper. A support system that existed on paper but not in practice. His savings had run out 8 months ago. He had been living in his car for the last 6 weeks. He drove Uber during the day to eat. At night he parked in a quiet lot near a 24-hour gym where he paid a small monthly fee just so he could shower and stay clean enough to keep his driver rating high. 4.8 stars, he said quietly. I work very hard for those stars. I didn't say anything for a long time. Here was a man who had served his country for 20 years. Who had sacrificed 2 decades of his life. Who was now sleeping in the back seat of a Honda Civic and waking up every morning to drive strangers around a city that had no idea who he was. And I had almost given him 1 star because he was quiet. We pulled up to my destination. I didn't get out. I asked Victor if he would wait for me for 10 minutes. He looked uncertain but nodded. I went inside, called my wife Diana, and told her everything. Without a single pause she said, "Bring him home for dinner." That was Diana. That evening Victor sat at our dinner table with Diana and our 2 kids. He ate a home-cooked meal for the first time in months. He laughed, genuinely laughed, for the first time in what he told us felt like years. After dinner I made some calls. I reached out to Pastor James at our local church who ran a veteran outreach program. I contacted a veteran housing assistance organization in Dallas. I called 2 friends who owned small businesses and were hiring. Within 1 week, everything shifted. Pastor James connected Victor with emergency transitional housing through the church's veteran program. One of my friends offered Victor a part-time position doing logistics coordination, work that directly matched his military background. The housing organization helped him navigate the paperwork. For longer-term veteran housing benefits he hadn't known he was entitled to.
You just sign right here at the bottom.
Okay, let me get that.
3 weeks after that Wednesday evening ride, Victor moved out of his car and into a small apartment. He sent me a message the night he slept in a real bed for the first time in 6 weeks. It said simply, "Thank you for not getting out of the car." I have that message saved on my phone. I will never delete it. The quiet ones are not unfriendly. The tired ones are not rude. The ones who don't make small talk are not cold. Sometimes they are simply carrying something so heavy that all their energy is going toward just holding it together. The next time you get into an Uber, look a little closer. Because you never know who is sitting in the front seat. If this story moved you, please share it with someone today. Subscribe to the channel. Every single week we bring you real stories of real people doing extraordinary things for one another. Thank you for watching. And thank you for being here.